A new fuel flows. Anticipation fills the air as the first transport of oil is sent to New London. To dream of a future without feeling cold feels surreal. To make it happen, however, we need to modify the generator to turn this black gold into heat. This will be irreversible. What future we build for ourselves will depend on it. We must decide. Yes, what happens next? The screen went black. Does that mean I won, or did everyone just die? Chapter 2, Ambitions. Yes, I finally made it to the next chapter. It took me 4 episodes to get here, and I honestly did not expect this game to be as challenging as it has become, especially after the update. People cheer as the oil reaches the city, but the question of what it means for our future remains. The years of our suffering are coming to an end. Let us improve the generator further and pump oil until the snows of the city melt forever, shout the Stalwart leaders. However, the Pilgrims disagree.
What the Stalwarts want is hubris. New London won't last forever. The frost is our reality. We have to embrace it. Venture forth. Use the oil to settle new homes in the white beyond.
The people look to you to decide the city's future, so we can either defeat the frost or embrace the frost. Let us see what either of these decisions will do to the city. If I choose to defeat the frost, which is what I'm leaning towards right now, it will permanently change the generator to only use oil, and I'll have the ability to exploit unlimited deep deposits, which sounds amazing. With those struggles we went through with the coal, I'm all for an unlimited resource to put the resource hunting behind us. On the other hand, if I were to embrace the frost instead, I would gain the ability to use any type of fuel and an unlimited output of frostland settlements. I'm not 100% clear on what that means. The only settlement we have outside of New London is the Old Dreadnought, unless they're counting places like the whale mining outpost, but I don't think that's what it means. I think I'm going to go with defeating the frost, and here's why. I've put in hours and hours of work in keeping this city alive and making it a safe haven for anyone in the Frostland to come and settle down. To try and settle outside of New London is a fool's errand because we would be spreading our resources so thin that we would be endangering every single settlement out there, including the main city. If the frost wants to be a problem, it can. It's just not going to be a problem here anymore. It's time to finally set the city on fire and burn that frost away. We first need to upgrade the generator with oil pumps to use the new fuel. Then we must research and further upgrade the generator with surplus injectors to make New London warmer than ever before. Newfound oil can also help us reach previously inaccessible deep deposits, which will not run out. We may tap into them for the security of the city. Oil Pump's generator upgrade is unlocked and available to be built. Melting deep deposits and generator upgrades research are also unlocked. This is great news for the city, but it's going to be a lot of work.
They want to overcome the frost, complete and utter hubris.
I mean, Mr. Drifter, if you don't even want to try, you could just go outside and brave the frost by yourself. Meanwhile, here, we will be working together to defeat the frost by heating all districts to warm. There are 23 districts in total, but technically I only need to worry about 21 of them because 2 of them are already heated to warm. In order to get the districts as warm as I need to get them, I need to make sure that the generator can handle the heat, so I'll need to upgrade the generator. And I will also need to upgrade the drills to collect more oil. I can't construct the generator oil pumps yet because I don't have enough heat stamps and building materials. I suppose now that I'm no longer on a time crunch, I can let time continue to move forward and collect materials naturally, as time progresses. While I wait for the materials to collect, I can look into researching. No, I cannot, because there's already a research project going for pump jacks. I completely forgot about that. I appear to have hit a standstill. Let me see if I can find something else to do to get these districts warm. Already having 2 warm districts is a good start, but I need to figure out which districts those are so I can copy and paste those same methods to the other districts. The little glass orb at the bottom of my screen is going crazy because the tension is severe in the city. Ooh, that's not good. Maybe if I ignore it and just keep working on what I'm working on, it'll go away. The tension in the city is severe mostly due to the crime level and the cold. I'm already looking into ways to defeat the cold, but I'll also need to start looking into ways to decrease the crime rate before I lose control of the city. It's a good time to enact guard enforcers. This would allow me to deploy squads of well-trained, well-equipped guards to put down disruptions and otherwise keep the peace. The people are currently divided on it, but I can make them see my way through negotiations. Everyone is open to negotiate. Let me start with the biggest party on the board, which is the New Londoners. They may be the only ones I need to negotiate with. I want them to vote for this law, and in exchange, I will build an actuated heat dispatcher which will allow me to raise the heat temperature in a district by 2. The people are still divided, so let me see if I can't negotiate with another party. This time I'm going to negotiate with the second biggest party on the board, which is the Frostlanders. I want them to vote for this law, and in exchange I will build a survivalist's headquarters which will make it easier and faster to explore more dangerous areas. The law is supported, it's time to vote and watch it go through.
The proposed law has been approved.
Good. Now if anyone tries to cause trouble, I'll be prepared. I'm looking at you, Pilgrims. I just have a feeling they're gonna try and cause trouble since I keep declining every single one of their ideas.
Is it wise for the steward to listen to them?
Listen to who? The voices in my head? That was my idea. Speaking of ideas, Steward, a young engineer, brought us novel designs to mass-produce prosthetics with a minimum amount of resources. Manufactured in standard sizes, they would allow maimed workers to get back on the saddle in no time. He bragged. Sure, they won't be the sturdiest, but they will cost practically nothing. If one breaks, folks will quickly get another one. Should we allocate additional materials to our industry to use these designs? It doesn't sound like a bad idea, especially considering we do get a lot of workers that get injured on the job during emergency shifts. It would allow me to maintain the workforce and get more done in the city, but I need to see what the results of each decision would be. If I choose to mass produce the prosthetics, it would give me an increase in active workers, but also require more materials. It would also raise my relationship with the Stalwarts and New Londoners. If I were to pass on the designs, there would be no fallout from that decision. I am going to mass produce prosthetics. The citizens of New London now don't have an excuse to stop working if they accidentally cut off their arm or leg. They'll just have to buy a new one. Well, we'll never run out of limbs, I guess. Indeed we won't. Instead of solving the problem of unsafe workplaces, I'm solving the problem that unsafe workplaces causes. Yep, that's a cause you can get behind just because.
Don't shield your apprentice from the dangerous aspects of your job. This is how they learn.
Oh, I hope that man doesn't have an apprentice right now, because they would be learning nothing from him. He doesn't know anything. Speaking of having nothing, this coal extraction district has run out of coal, so I'm going to demolish it to get my materials back. I've noticed an issue with these districts that are kind of far out from the city. They're not connected to anything whatsoever. The issue comes when I try to start heating all the districts in the city. The districts here in the center of the city can spread heat between one another. But out there, those districts have to produce heat on their own and enough heat to be warm. They aren't even chilly yet, they're still very cold. But first things first, let me switch our city officially over to oil by installing the oil pumps. It feels like we've already switched over to oil, but we haven't. It's just been delivered and it hasn't been used yet. I now have an excess amount of building materials from the demolition of the coal extraction district. I'm going to put some of it to use by building the actuated heat dispatcher for the New Londoners in the first housing district I've ever built. While I'm primarily doing this to fulfill the agreement with the New Londoners, I also want to see how it's going to affect the heat ranking in that district. Can you please stop yelling my name? Thank you. The fracturing pump jack has completed researching, which is great because I need to do other research projects, and that's going to come in use now that I've switched the generator over to oil. Rally of support by the Stalwarts. Steward. The Stalwarts have begun throwing rallies in celebration of the generator upgrade. Orderly rows of faction members and supporters fill the city square. Tell them what we rally for. The leaders shout from their podiums. We rally for progress. We rally for the generator. We rally for the city. Their passion is contagious, inspiring others to put in additional effort for the benefit of the city. Do you want to ask them to promote something specific? Ooh, so the Stalwarts are actually convincing people to give me some extra stuff here. This could be very useful, but do I want more workforce, more heat stamps, or more enforcers? If I choose to increase the workforce, it says it's increased by a percentage, but it doesn't give us exactly how much. As for guards, it would give us 5 new guard squads for the enforcers. I'm definitely staying away from that last option that says say nothing. And then for heat stamps, I could get 2 per week, which is pretty good. That's what I'm going to go with because it's the best option. Overall, it seems like I'm going to get the most from the heat stamps.
The Stalwarts are rallying in support of steward leadership. All upstanding citizens are invited to join them.
Yes, everyone is cordially invited to the rallies. And you're also invited to give some excess heat stamps as well, if you can. The New Londoners' demands have been met and trust rises as the actuated heat dispatcher has completed building. New London kind of feels happy for once, which is kind of strange. I've gotten used to only negative things happening. It's time to start the next research project. This time the researchers will be studying surplus injectors for the generator. These are advanced delivery mechanisms distributing excess heat to other districts and facilities for them to operate more efficiently. Oil burnt in the generator yields more heat efficiency in warm districts is greatly increased. It looks like it's gonna take a ton of resources to build, but it'll be worth it. It's time to research this idea. I'm hoping that within the 20 weeks it takes to research the surplus injectors, we'll build up more materials in order to build them. And if not, we'll have to find them. That's a problem for another day. Right now, let me check this district. It's still very cold, and that's because I forgot to insulate it, I think. Let me see. Yes, indeed, so I insulated it now. I am going to continue insulating every district I find that's not yet insulated when I find them. As I've proven in previous episodes, it's the best way to passively increase the heat in the city without doing anything on my part. Inside the build menu, I found heating hubs, which would increase the heat near districts where it's built. For example, if I place it here, the temperature increases by 1 1/4, but if I place it over here, it increases by 1 2/4. That's a little better, actually. It appears that if I place it near multiple districts, it works a lot better, so let me see if I can place it closer to the city here, where we'll have the greatest area of effect. It can affect multiple districts at once. I think over here is probably going to be the best, because it's already frostbroken and I don't need to do anything. If I place it here, I'm affecting 4 districts at once. I don't think I can do better than that, so I'm going to leave it there for now. If I see that this hub has a good effect on all the districts, I will build more around the city. Having only one for now is a good starting point. In order to satisfy my agreement with the Frostlanders, I'm going to build the Survivalist headquarters down here in this logistics district. The Frostlanders' demands have been met as the Survivalist headquarters has been built. With all my agreements taken care of, I can now get back to solely focusing on defeating the Frost. And crime. I didn't forget about crime. I have frostbroken over to a new place to gather food, which has a ton of it, so I'm gonna build a new food district right on top. It may not be the best time for me to build new districts because now I have to get this one up to warm as well, but the food is currently at -39, so it is needed. With the previous demolition of my coal extraction district, this brings the total number of districts up to 23 again. Now that I actually have some use for oil and some Frostland teams, I've gone back to the oil cistern that is on the desolate coast. I can either send regular workers or send mountaineers. What's the difference? If I send regular workers, some people might die, I would still get the 50,000, but if I send mountaineers, I would get the 50,000 with no one dying. I'm going to go with the deathless option. I want the oil, but I don't need anyone to die over it if they don't have to. While I'm outside of New London, I'm going to turn off the whale mining outpost in order to get enough team members to explore some new territory. This time, my team will be exploring the frozen ocean because there is a ton of resources out there that they could discover that will all come in use eventually. I want to grab them as early as I can to try and prevent any type of oil to New London situation from happening again. Wow, our stockpile for the coal is going amazing now that we're not using it anymore. The oil is pretty good too. They're both in positive numbers, which is what I like to see. If the heat could get there too, then we'd be golden. I made a small mistake. I should have turned off the mining outpost instead of turning off this food outpost over here. So I'm turning the whale mining outpost back on, and I'm turning off the coal mining outpost. I don't really need coal anymore, I don't think, because even the old dreadnought here, which I completely forgot about, yes, I need to turn the generator back on so these people stop freezing to death. It looks like I may have lost 200 people here, which is okay because it was worth it to get the oil into New London. Now that the original amount has been transferred, I can focus on making this place better and more efficient. I need this black gold constantly flowing from the old dreadnought to New London. I'm going to transfer more of it now. That looks good. I'm just gonna leave the old dreadnought with 10 because they're gonna use less than the city will.
Steward! We are calling you, Steward.
Whoa, and I am answering your call. She really got impatient. She must be one of the scouts in the Scouts rivalry. Steward, the deeds and findings of our scouts are the talk of the town. Some of them grow in popularity to the point of receiving letters and gifts. It's boosting our scouts' morale, but it has also started causing jealousy and rivalry. Recently, a brawl between 2 crewmates erupted over a portrait sent by a young lady. I didn't realize Mona Lisa was in town. Some officers welcome this extra motivation, but others have expressed concern and are urging you to intervene. Well, if this alleged portrait of Mona Lisa is causing all the chaos, I'll take that and I'll store it somewhere private, I mean safe. Anyway, should I let the people continue to send gifts or not? If I allow the gift giving to continue, then the exploration time would be extremely decreased and relations would improve with the Stalwarts. If I prohibit individual gift giving, the relationship with the Pilgrims would improve and the tension in the city would be decreased. I'm going to allow the individual gift giving because I believe that a little competition never hurt nobody, and it'll motivate our troops to work a little harder if they're not receiving gifts. It will be something to work towards if nothing else about the job interests them. The colder season has arrived. Oh, and this extraction district has run out of materials, so I am going to demolish it to get my materials back. That's one less district I have to worry about heating. This industrial district has been out of commission for a while. I'm going to repair it to put it back in action so it can produce more goods to help us decrease the crime rates. With the district reactivated, emergency shifts take place again. I was also thinking of possibly building something to heat the district, but I think I'm gonna hold off on that for now. I keep running out of materials for what I need to build, so it's not really a good idea for me to go around building whatever I want right now. It's time to begin the researchers' next project, which is going to be researching deep melting drills. This is an installation allowing access to almost unlimited deep veins of resources where they are available. In other words, we're gonna be able to get a ton more oil, almost unlimited oil, without doing much of anything. The efficiency of our drills will be extremely increased, however, the squalor and the materials needed for the drills will also increase. Overall, the positives outweigh the negatives in this research project. It would be nice to get to a point where eventually we don't have to worry about fuel, we just have to worry about the people in the city and keeping them warm. In other words, the politics and the comfort of my people. I wanted to build the generator surplus injectors, but I'm missing like 6 heat stamps and 1 core. I'm not sure where to get a core from. My best guess is I have to get it outside of New London when my Frostland teams return from their exploration. Their current exploration is almost complete, so I'm going to see if one happens to pop up after they're done with that one. Otherwise, it might take me a little while to build the surplus injectors. I now have everything I need except that 1 core. While I wait for a core to appear, my people have something to say. Rallying Stalwarts propose ideas. Steward, during their rallies, the Stalwarts were inspired to research new policies on their own accord. Their most recent research was regarding new work models. They presented the results of their private study, machine attendance, to the city. We've done the work. All the steward has to do is to put it to a vote. They call on you to pledge your support for their law. The new law is machine attendance. Machines will take over the burden of work from humans. Workplaces will be optimized for machines, with workers regulated for maintenance roles. The workforce requirement is significantly decreased. My citizens have proven that they're reliable to a point, but machines would be way more reliable and get much more work done. In other words, it would be way more efficient. I'm definitely gonna try and pass this law for the Stalwarts. The Pilgrims could take a few notes from the Stalwarts, because the Stalwarts are actually suggesting some useful changes, unlike the Pilgrims who just keep saying, heat stamps, heat stamps.
The steward's promises will be this city's ruin.
You wouldn't be saying that if I agreed to do your route, but I think that your route would lead to the city's ruin. So I'm going to ignore you and see what my team has discovered on the far edge. It looks like they've discovered 3 new things. The first item they discovered is a crashed hulk. A tracked transport lies wedged lightly in a crevice, rows of redesigned faces visible through the windows. The engine at the front is a shredded mess, ash and melted steel scarring the wall of ice where it collided, its precious cores clearly destroyed. No, we needed cores. Our scouts planned to knock the transport down to the crevice's bottom to easily salvage its materials and coal. They could carefully remove and bury the bodies first, so they're not crushed in the fall, but that will take more men and time. I can either take the cargo or leave. If I take the cargo, I would gain 50,000 coal and 50,000 materials, and it would only take 5 Frostland teams. I don't need the coal anymore, but the materials will definitely come in use. I'm taking that. The second discovery my team made was thin ice.
Help me, guys. I'm falling into the water.
Joffrey slipped on thin ice. We should definitely tell the steward about this so he doesn't make the same mistake.
Swimming, I'm drowning.
That's so far outside the city, I don't see how that's relevant to me. Oh, I see. They found a bunch of fish and walruses that could feed New London. Yes, definitely. Let's harvest that. The third and final discovery was a reverberating wreck. The scouts came to this particular wreck after hearing tapping on its hull. Descending the decks, they found no living souls, but discovered an automation still tapping an SOS on the hull after 30 years. The scouts have nicknamed the machine the Tap Dancer. We could either cut the automation free and send it to New London, or scrap it for its cores. I think you know where this is going, and I feel kind of bad because the scouts named it, but I do need to dismantle this for the cores. If I were to free the Tap Dancer, I could get 400 workforce, which isn't bad, but it's not needed at this moment. It's time to let the machine rest in peace along with its crew. And with its death, life goes on. It's taking a minute for the core to reach New London, so I'm going to check in on the council hall. There is a radical law on the agenda. The current law on the agenda goes beyond what the common citizen finds thinkable. It will be more difficult to pass than others, and once enacted, it will radicalize both for and against factions in your society. I see. This is in relation to the law that the Stalwarts suggested, which is machine attendance. This law would optimize workplaces to be held by machines instead of people. People would just be there to repair the machines. It significantly decreases the workforce requirements for any work districts, and it's a drastic step towards progress. The people are currently divided on this law. It looks like the only people open for negotiation are the New Londoners. The Frostlanders are also partially open for negotiation as well. The Stalwarts and the Pilgrims are both not open for negotiation. Let's start with the most open party, which is the New Londoners. I want them to vote for this law, and in exchange, I will research the coated pistons upgrade for the generator. The pistons would be treated with a ceramic matrix coating that can operate under increased heat loads, which means that I can increase the generator heat capacity, allowing me to produce and allocate more heat to my districts. With the New Londoners now on board for the machine attendance, the law is now supported, so I can go straight to the vote. Let's see what happens.
The delegates have spoken. The law takes effect.
Great. Can I replace the announcer guy with a robot now? With that law passed, the Stalwarts' demands have been met, our relationship with them improves, and trust rises. Ooh, look at that. The Stalwarts are devoted to me now. The New Londoners are neutral, the Pilgrims are hostile, and the Frostlanders are also neutral. I don't like having a hostile party in the city. It feels like it's going to become a way bigger problem. Speaking of problems, what's this? Collateral damage. Steward, a worker died in a gruesome accident involving a shredding press. No emergency shutdown was available since the machine attendance law mandated the removal of anything that would hinder efficiency. Bob tripped and the machine sucked him up, chomped him to bits. His screams. I'll never forget his screams, said a shocked witness. Then there was some kind of mechanical gurgle, and the whole process went on as if nothing happened. After such an incident, some people demand we add some safeguards to protect people. What should we do? Get rid of humanity completely? It took 1 day for them to mess this up. We literally just passed the law and someone's already getting eaten by a machine. But in all seriousness, I could choose to introduce emergency shutdowns. It would make the law less efficient and it would worsen my relationship with two parties. However, if I choose to stay firm on this law, the machine attendance law might cause casualties and my relationships would improve with both parties. It's a tough decision, but it seems like everyone agrees with my train of thought. Machines are blameless. We won't halt productions to compensate for worker carelessness. Machine priority persists. Machine stoppage is still banned. Risk of death is no exception. My core has almost reached the city, just a few more steps and then we are there. Yes. Let's not waste even a second more. My Frostland teams are going on their next expedition to get possibly more cores from the Howling Shore. With the final core in the city, I can now build the generator's surplus injectors. All I need to do now is wait for that building to complete. The deep melting drill has completed being researched, which means I'll have to find a new project for our researchers. Oh no, this wood extraction district has gone completely empty. I'm going to demolish it, and that brings my total number of districts down to 21. I also realized that the colder season is currently making it very hard to warm districts. This one is freezing, and I don't think it was that bad before. I'm switching this industrial district back to goods production to help lower the crime rate. I'm already doing good on prefabs. I get 11 a week, which isn't bad at all. I should still probably build more industrial districts so I don't have to keep switching back between prefabs and goods, but I'm going to hold off on that for a moment. This one is going to remain prefabs. I was gonna build something to heat it, but I don't think I should do that just yet. I'm going to start on this side of the map because I feel like if I go from one side of the map to the other, it's going to be way easier to remember where I've built actuated heat dispatchers and other similar equipment, and sort of where I've gotten districts to the correct temperature. These buildings do cost a lot of materials that are not easy to get. I may need to build a lot of this building though if this heats the district to the correct temperature. A lot of what I'm going to be doing is experimenting with different ways to heat districts to see what works best. I don't have a solid plan on how to heat districts yet, but I'm getting there. It's time for the researchers to start their next project, which will be on coated pistons for the New Londoners. Once researched and built, I can generate and allocate more heat to districts, just by using the generator itself with no extra buildings. With the recent demolition of my wood extraction district, my materials have dropped to a -71. In order to solve this deficit, I'm going to build a new extraction district on the available materials here in between two other districts. This will both help me to get the materials I need and also allow me to more easily transfer heat between all districts in this area. Without it, it would have been a struggle to heat this far district here. I've made plenty of new upgrades to the generator, and I haven't checked it out to see how it's changed. It appears to be basically the same, it's just more powerful than it used to be. I could increase the heating. That might be a good idea. That would increase the heat by 1 in all districts below livable. But if I allocate the heats, all the districts below livable would get an equal amount depending on the fuel output. That's the better option. That will hopefully keep all districts from becoming freezing and be around very cold or warmer, making it somewhat easier to get to my final goal. I was going to build the deep melting drill over at the old Dreadnought, but I need more workforce and yet another core. My team has just finished their exploration of the Howling Shore, so hopefully they found a core or two over there. In order to solve my workforce shortage, I may have to transfer people from New London to the old Dreadnought. Before I commit to that idea though, let me see what my team's discovered at the Howling Shore. The first item out of 2 items is a cursed circle. Some nomads have left a circle of strange machines around a single charred body. Forget Hope is carved into each machine, some of which contain useful cores. Our scouts claim the parts are cursed and should be left where they lie. They should know by now that things like that don't bother me. We disturbed a mass grave and a ghost ship already. We are taking the cores. I'll lose some trust because the scouts will tell everyone we brought the curse to New London. I'm okay with that. They can believe what they want. It's not going to affect how I run the city and how we're going to defeat the Frost. The second item they discovered is some mossy caves. Our scouts insist that lichen and moss from the caves tastes fine. Okay, in soup. At least better than sawdust. An outpost to harvest moss for food. Sure, why not? Any food will do. However, as steward, I will be sticking to my fish dinners. The Stalwarts rallies have expanded to Didsbury, and my people have something to say about that. Steward, empowered by your support, the Stalwarts have extended their activities to a new district. Their members can be seen on every corner, and they now hold periodic rallies near this district's main hub as well. They ask again what they should focus on next to keep supporting the city. What should we say? It appears that I have the same options as last time. I can either have more workforce, heat stamps, or enforcers. Last time I went with heat stamps because I felt like that had the greatest effect. However, this time I will be choosing workforce because of the events happening at the old Dreadnought. With their need for more workforce, it's going to put a strain on New London's workforce. This will hopefully help balance that out. My current available workforce at the old Dreadnought is only 20 people. I don't see anything I can do besides transferring people over. I need 300, so I am way off right now. Here they come! I ordered some people from New London to come on over to the old Dreadnought. This will be increasing our population by 200 people and our workforce by 80, but I also wanted to see what it would do to our resources. It looks like the items that took the biggest hit are housing and goods. I knew housing would be a problem, but it looks like if I bring 200 more people from New London to the old Dreadnought, I'm also going to be bringing the crime rate over, due to the extreme lack of availability of goods in this settlement. The colder season has arrived yet again. I feel like I never see the end of it. It obviously ends, I just don't notice it because it's not as dramatic as when it's coming in when it's leaving. I'm back on the screen that allows me to transfer my workforce between New London and the old Dreadnought. I'm going to be transferring 170 new people to the old Dreadnought. The New Londoners' demands have been met as research finishes on the coated pistons. My relationship with them has improved and the overall community trust rises. The Stalwarts are at it again and have raised funds for a pressurized heat dispatcher. Steward, the Stalwarts have extended their activities into a new district. They have erected a stage near the hub and hold periodic rallies here as well. During their most recent event, the speeches focused on the need to construct a pressurized heat dispatcher in this district. We know how to build it. We've got the spot for it, and we know for certain that we need it, so let's get it done, their spokesman urged. They then collected donations to fund this construction and signed up volunteers who pledged to work in the building during their spare time. Do you wish to let the construction begin? So what I'm hearing is I could get a free pressurized seat dispatcher in this district? Let me check if that's correct. Yes, it has no heat stamp costs to me, and it would improve relations with all communities. I'd be a fool to refuse this offer. We accept the Stalwarts' kind donation and will start construction at once. The Stalwarts used to be my least favorite faction in the city. Now they are my favorite because of everything they are accomplishing for me. Meanwhile, the Pilgrims still exist. They're a very small and dying faction. Who knows what they're up to these days? In order to keep up with both the city and the old dreadnought's need for oil, I'm putting the oil extraction district on emergency shifts. Once the deep melting drill is installed, I may consider ending emergency shifts because we should be getting enough oil at that time. Here comes yet another convoy of eager workers for the old dreadnought from New London. Let's see how it affects the settlement. I now have 290 active workers at the old dreadnought. Not enough for the melting drill, but enough to build a housing district. With the great migration of people coming in, I will be building the housing district right next to the old dreadnought to collect that sweet, sweet heat. And I suppose I can also have it go along this ridge here, because eventually I'll build housing districts in the valley as well. It's time for the next research project. This time I'll be researching the teaching hospital, which will regularly cure a significant number of sick absentees. This could definitely help me at the old dreadnought, where it seems like most of our workforce is sick or injured. This district will unlock the preliminary triage district ability, which decreases disease but will result in more deaths. I'm guessing that means that the more useless or incurable people will die, and the people that can be cured will be cured, resulting in a more active workforce. A training hospital is a hospital outfitted with dedicated equipment and facilities to provide medical education and training to students. It would slightly decrease disease in the districts where it's built. It would also slightly increase the research speed, meaning I could get more research projects done faster. The other option I have is to research a hospital, which seems less effective. Let's start research on the teaching hospital. The generator is off. Why is it off? I remember turning it on. Okay, it's back on again. And now it's back off again. Oh, because I keep running out of fuel. And here comes another group of New Londoners eager to join the old dreadnought's chaos. Why am I running out of fuel? I feel like I had enough to support New London and the old dreadnought before. Am I sending too much to New London now? No, they are in negative numbers as well, in -20. Where did all the oil go? Hello, my friends at the extraction district. Are you working? Yes, but not enough. Let me install that deep melting drill. This will hopefully allow me to get all the oil I need. What? Why is it not allowing me to install it? Here, I grab it, and then I bring it over. Hello. I bring it over here, and usually there's something that pops up that allows you to insert the building into the district, but that's not popping up for me. I am so lost right now. I'm either experiencing a bad game glitch, or I'm missing something somewhere. When I open the district, it shows me that there's 2 building slots available, but when I go to build the deep melting drill, suddenly there's no slots available. This might take me a minute to figure out. I was thinking maybe the building slots need to be unlocked via expanding the district, but it looks like I can't expand this district anymore, which means the building slots should be unlocked. The key word here is should be. They are and they aren't. This is an installation allowing access to almost unlimited deeper veins of resources where they are available. What does available mean? If it's not this specific extraction district, how do I know which extraction districts it is? I am definitely missing something, and it's probably very obvious. I'll come back to that. Somebody has something to say. Verna Watts, an inventor building a pet cat. The elders will love this little guy in the care facility, a mechanical cat that wants for nothing in return. Doesn't need to be fed, doesn't need to be cleaned, but gives eternal attention and love. At least, as long as the steel doesn't rust. Perhaps I'll cover it with seal fur to encourage pats. Not that it needs them. I'll name him Buster. You set the city on course towards the progress cornerstone. A mechanical cat sounds kinda creepy, but her heart's in the right place, and I'm sure the elders wouldn't find it as creepy as I do. I'd actually be interested in seeing what it looks like, because in my head, it's mostly a mechanical body with some seal fur pinned here and there. Like it's more robot looking than animal looking, if that makes sense. The teaching hospital has completed being researched, and the generator continues to go in and out of having fuel. This really bugs me, but I can't do anything about it. Well, I can, but I just haven't figured out how to do it yet. I've discovered another oil deposit on the bottom part of the old dreadnought map. I am currently frostbreaking my way through the valley to get to it because we currently need more oil, and hopefully this district will allow me to build the deep melting drill. The frostbreaking through the valley has completed, so I'm going to continue frostbreaking over to the oil. I'm getting excited because even if I can't build the deep melting drill over here, at least it should stop the generator from turning on and off constantly. There's an unfair stigma in New London. Steward, some chronic disease sufferers complain they are unfairly tarnished by our infectious badge law. I've got asthma and I convulse with wheezing and hacking coughs from time to time. It's not pretty, but it's not catching, yet still folk give me the stink eye for not wearing a badge, said one such sufferer. If we had hospitals, they could provide medical exemption certificates to such citizens, in addition to taking care of our health and helping the sick. What should we do? That's a good question, but how would they know that you're exempt from the infectious badge law? Would you have to wear another badge saying that you're exempt from the previous badge? Because that doesn't make much sense. You would basically be trading one badge for another badge that says you don't have to wear the first badge. Anyway, I could choose to promise to build a hospital or ignore it for now. I'm already in the process of building a teaching hospital, so I'll promise to build the hospital for the people of New London. That's just an easy way to gain some more trust without changing my plans. I need a few more houses at the Old Dreadnought, so I'm going to expand the current housing district, and I'm going to put the tiles moving closer towards the valley. That way, in case I build a housing district down in the valley, I'll be able to spread the heat down there way easier. Not that that district necessarily needs help being heated, but it should help me transfer heat between districts way easier if they're connected. It's time to start my next research project into conservative treatments. Doctors must abide by the traditional oath of first do not harm. To avoid errors, every procedure must first be approved by senior physicians. This is a law that, if enacted, would decrease disease significantly among the populace of the city. The other option I would have had was experimental treatments, which do not work as well as conservative treatments do. At least in the game. IRL it might be different. Talk to your doctor. Rallies begin collapsing. What? Your relations with the Stalwarts have deteriorated. They no longer support you enough to rally in your favor. If you improve relations, they might again campaign in your name. Oh, I'm definitely going to improve relations again. I think they didn't like that I went with conservative treatments over their idea for experimental treatments. But it was a worse idea, so I'm not going to do it. Waning trust. Oh no. Steward, the people no longer trust you. If the situation doesn't improve, the council will demand a vote of confidence disputing your leadership. If you fail that vote, it will be the end of your rule. You must raise trust to avoid the vote of confidence. The steward must not fall again. Verge of failure. Wow, they really want me to know how bad I'm doing. Be cautious. Since you lost your people's trust before, this time there will be no recourse to that vote of confidence if you fail to restore it. Failing this quest will result in your exile. I will restore the trust. I've done it before, so I know it's not that hard to do, but I just hate being this close to failing yet again. I now have a new goal of restoring the trust to tolerated or higher. I am currently reviled mostly due to the parties not liking me. The Pilgrims, Frostlanders, and New Londoners all don't like me now. But hey, the Stalwarts still kinda like me, they're neutral. The relationship with the New Londoners looks like it could easily be repaired, but the Pilgrims and the Frostlanders are impossible to repair. They just hate me outright. The easiest and fastest way to regain my people's trust would be to fulfill the promise of building the teaching hospital. I think I'll place it in this district over here. I feel like that district already has a good heat standing and it won't be demolished anytime soon. In order to gain back the trust of the New Londoners, I am going to be funding their projects by giving them 244 heat stamps. That is a lot of heat stamps. I hope they spend them well. Is there anything else I can do to raise their trust? I could heat their homes, but I don't really want to do that. Or I could grant their agenda, but there are no new laws to vote upon in the council hall. They would just be replacing one of the laws we already passed, which is kind of useless. The teaching hospital has finally completed building, which means my people's trust rises as my promise has been kept. In another attempt to regain my people's trust, I'm going to promote the Stalwarts in order to encourage some of our more negative faction members to join the positive faction. The most positive faction in the city. That seemed to work beautifully. I saw a crazy increase to the trust levels in the city. Let's see where I stand now. I'm still despised. That's better than it was before, but it still needs improvement. The research into conservative treatments has been completed. Now all that needs to be done is it needs to be brought into the council hall for a vote. I still need to build a teaching hospital here at the Old Dreadnought in order to heal my workforce. But in order to do that, I need to bring more workforce from New London over because I don't have enough. Well, I did, but they all got injured, so it's a very vicious cycle we're going in where I invite them over from New London to the Old Dreadnought and they all get injured. Who wants to travel to the Old Dreadnought? I hear it's a wonderful experience where you go there and you never return. The warmer season has arrived. That's a new and welcome surprise.
Please, be patient with our teaching hospital residents. Mistakes are part of the learning process.
Yes, they are, but what is the second part? I feel like you haven't discovered that yet. Also, what are you doing in our teaching hospitals? Get out! I'm currently at the generator, and I'm going to increase the heating in all districts. The Stalwarts rallies expand to Clerkenwell. Does that mean all is well in Clerkenwell? I would assume so, but I don't know that district that well. What should I ask the Stalwarts for this time? I can get more workforce, more heat stamps, or mobilize the enforcers. I'm going to ask for more workforce, since the workforce in New London keeps wandering over to the old Dreadnought and never coming back. It hasn't caused any huge problems in New London yet, but it could, and I want to prevent that. This wood extraction district has been deactivated because it has no access to any more materials. Since it's no longer of use to me, I'm going to demolish it and get my materials back to build another district in the future. This brings my total number of districts down to 21. The infrastructure in the city is deteriorating. Steward, the endless cold and accumulating ice take a heavy toll on our districts. Steel grows brittle and cracks. Wood deforms and splits. Winds batter our city. We need a steady supply of materials to maintain our infrastructure. Steep them in squalor long enough and our districts will deteriorate at a moment's notice, as one did just now. High squalor will continue to deteriorate our districts until it's brought down. I see, so the city now has high squalor. I fully acknowledge that I may have created this problem, and I will do my best to solve it. Until then, I have to just keep repairing the districts that fall. Like this one, for example, it takes 100 prefabs to repair it. My citizens have a new message for me about an old enemy. Steward, it was only a matter of time. We had an unusually long streak of mild weather, but now the meteorologists are clear. There's a familiar drop in air pressure at higher altitudes. A whiteout is coming. Oh no. The wind will cause extreme cold and the clouds will blot out the sun, impacting our food production. Without shelter, ample fuel, and a stockpile of food, our people will be at mortal risk. We have to prepare. Temperature level will greatly decrease during the whiteout. Food production will be significantly lowered. We must prepare indeed.
Weather warning. Weather warning. Whiteout signs detected.
That's it. No helpful tips for the people of New London? You usually give them something to work with. That's fine, we'll be okay. If the Wanderers taught me one thing, it's how to survive a whiteout. The first step I'm taking is going to be building stockpile hubs near extraction districts. This will allow my people to obtain and store any type of goods they may need during the whiteout. It specifically mentioned food in the last message, so I'm gonna start there. Ooh, and it decreases the workforce by 40%. Yes, build it there. I did not know it could do that, otherwise I would have been building those much sooner. I'm also gonna demolish this random one I have outside the city. I tried to build one earlier, but I didn't understand how they worked. Looking back, I think I did it wrong at the old Dreadnought with the Wanderers as well. This one only gives me 30% workforce requirement. That's still good. That's better than what it was. I was expecting that one to be 40% too. I'm guessing that it's different due to the shape of the district and where the hub is placed, in relation to where the district is. I've asked more New Londoners to come to the old Dreadnought in order for us to get the oil prepared before the whiteout hits. Before I touch the oil, I need to make sure that this vicious workforce cycle stops by building a teaching hospital. This will allow my active workforce at the old Dreadnought to increase, as we'll be healing the people working there instead of constantly bringing in new people from New London. The old Dreadnought is not a retirement home, it's an active work site that's very important to the survival of the city. Let's see what this hospital can do. Start preliminary triage. Wow, that healed a lot of people. Over 500 people were healed and only 90 died. That's pretty good. I now have 500 more workers, which is perfect to build any building or district. And let's be honest, the 90 who died weren't being helpful anyway. They were just taking up resources. Now we're saving resources with them gone. With the workforce back in action, I can build the extraction district on the oil here at the bottom of the map. I may need to work fast here so that the workforce doesn't decline again. My people's trust in me has been restored. The people's faith in you has been restored. The agreement is that you'll continue to hold your position as steward. I see. On another good note, 4 out of 21 districts are now warm, and it appears that most districts, at least the ones I'm clicking on, are in livable status. Well, this one is chilly. Let me check on the housing district, the first one I built. That's cold. And the food districts are also chilly, so it definitely appears like it's going to be harder to heat districts that aren't close to one another. Let's check this one. It's livable. It has an actuated heat dispatcher built in it. That's interesting. I wouldn't think that alone would make it livable. But it appears to be working. Let me check another logistics district. This one's chilly, it has the survivalist headquarters, and it's not insulated. The other one's insulated as well, so that's definitely helping. What about this last one? It's also chilly without insulation. All I need to do at the moment during this warmer season is to build actuated heat dispatchers and insulate every district. I also need prefabs to build everything. I can't build anything if I don't have the building materials for it, so let me switch this goods-producing industrial district to prefabs producing. No, that's gonna cause crime, though. It needs to be done, though, because the whiteout's coming, so I'm going to switch it for now. Once the whiteout hits, I'm not going to be able to heat anything, so I'm going to have to accomplish this before the whiteout hits. I should also probably put this district on emergency shifts so that they get this work done speedy. I need to light a fire under their feet so they don't get frostbite and so they work faster. There's a new message for me, loud and clear. Steward, the Stalwarts have begun using oil to power a small radio they've attached to their lamps. They claim this will allow them to further ensure the safety of workers and increase efficiency by enabling constant communication. So far, it seems to be working. Managers can report accidents in a heartbeat. Spreadsheets can be updated in real time, and foremen can micromanage to an unprecedented degree. The Stalwarts are overjoyed. Relations with the Stalwarts improved after we pledged to defeat the Frost. I see. I'm happy that they're happy because they have made some great progress in the city. Unlike the Pilgrims, I still can't name anything useful that they've done. There's another new message, a beacon of hope. Steward, our guards have encountered a group of frozen, terrified outsiders at the edge of the city. They speak of stories spreading among the destitute groups scraping by in the frozen wastes. That our improved generator can ensure safety for all. That here, people can have a future. It seems New London has become a beacon of hope in the face of the incoming whiteout. There will be more people coming. Population growth increases, laws regulating outsiders' influx has been unlocked. So the population growth is extremely increased. I see. We are definitely doing great for ourselves, but that's the key word, ourselves. We can't take in outsiders because that would deplete our resources and we'd all die. Let's see what these new laws are all about. I could accept all the outsiders. That would just lead to increased population growth, which could lead to a lot of problems in my eyes, so I don't really want to choose that option. I could also choose to admit no outsiders and the population growth would be greatly decreased. I could see that causing problems as well, though. My final option would be to only allow productive outsiders in. That would slightly increase the percentage of active workers over time, marginally increase population growth, and marginally increase heat stamps income per capita as well. I'm always in need of more great workers, and it seems like the people are divided on every single option, so there's no straightforward answer from the city. This law is only supported by the Stalwarts, so hey, it's a good option. We're definitely choosing it. Get on board or get out of the city. I am despised again. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's check and see if anybody's open for negotiation. There are two parties open for negotiation, the New Londoners and the Frostlanders. The Stalwarts won't negotiate because they want this, and the Pilgrims won't negotiate because it's against their worldview. Let's start negotiations with the biggest party on the board, the New Londoners. I want them to vote for this law, and in exchange, I will publicly condemn the Pilgrims. I don't even need an excuse to do that, it would just make me happy to do, but sure, I'll do it for you guys. The law is now supported, so I don't need to do any further negotiations. Let's start the vote.
The votes are in! The measure passes!
Great, we're becoming a more productive city by the second. We'll need to be as productive as we can get to survive the whiteout and accomplish our other goals. Let me quickly publicly condemn the Pilgrims, as was my agreement with the New Londoners. With that completed, my relationship with the New Londoners improves and trust rises. 12 out of 21 districts are now warm. I'm getting closer to my goal, but I still have a lot of work to do. Somewhere along my journey, I have used the only core I had for the deep melting drill, so now I need to find another one. I also do not have enough Frostland teams for a new expedition, so I'm going to need to shut down the whale mining outpost for a little bit, in order to gain enough Frostland teams to go on an expedition. While exploring the map, I found the best place to explore will be the mountains because it has goods, cores, and prefabs, as possible discoveries, which are all items I need right now. I'll have to check back in 22 weeks when that expedition finishes. I hope it's worth the wait. Yet another wood extraction district has run out of materials, so it is time to demolish it. It's not a good sign that all my materials extraction districts are now depleting, when Squalor is at an all-time high and the whiteout is on its way. This one has also become empty, so I'm going to demolish this as well, which means I have demolished 2 districts in a row. That has brought my total number of districts down to 19 and my materials income down to a negative 316. Yikes. The good news is I only need to make 5 more districts reach the warm status and to build the deep melting drill to complete my goal. That is definitely doable. This district is already livable. If I insulate it, it should go to warm by itself. Now I just need to find the 4 districts remaining and heat them to warm as well. And build the deep melting drill, of course, but that's the hardest goal on my list. I still have not discovered what it means by available. I completely forgot to bring the conservative treatment law in front of the council for a vote. As a reminder, doctors must abide by the traditional oath of first do not harm. To avoid errors, every procedure must be first approved by senior physicians. This law would decrease the amount of disease in the city, and the people are currently divided. My reputation suffers with every new law. Let's see if anyone's open for negotiation. The parties open for negotiation are the same as always: New Londoners and Frostlanders. The Stalwarts won't negotiate because it's against their worldview, and the Pilgrims won't negotiate because they want this. Let me start where I always start, negotiating with the New Londoners. I want them to vote for this law, and in exchange, I will construct a fracturing pump jack. This facility utilizes explosives to create fractures in underground rock formations, allowing for rapid extraction of oil. This will grant us 100 extra oil in exchange for a slightly increased squalor, material demand, and workforce demand. It appears that the people are still divided, so it's time to start negotiations with the second biggest party on the board, and the only party left, the Frostlanders. I want them to vote for this law, and in exchange, I will research the Moss Filtration Tower, which would significantly decrease squalor. It would require 300 workforce and unlock the ability to rapidly filtrate the district, which would decrease squalor but would result in injuries. Luckily, the solution for an injury would be a hospital, which we've already built. Let's put this law to a vote.
The proposed law has been approved.
Good, I look forward to seeing a more active workforce because they're not all sick anymore. My people are saying justice has no scabbard. Steward, the Stalwarts have upgraded their automatrons to respond to a specific frequency on their radios. They've equipped the beasts with searchlights and speakers and mounted them, patrolling the city to maintain order. The Pilgrims believe this is absurd.
Someone stole a bread roll yesterday, and they nearly leveled the entire district, lumbering after them on those metal wretches.
One cried. However, the numbers favor the Stalwarts' crime has dropped considerably. What should we do? My choices in this situation are to allow the automatron patrols or ban them. If I allow them, it would decrease the crime and unlock the Mobilize Automatron Enforcers action, but it would increase the wear in districts. However, if I ban them, there is no effects on the city. I honestly love this idea, the idea of Stalwarts just roaming the city on giant robots stopping the Pilgrims' crime. But the wear in districts is already at an extreme level due to the high squalor level and low resources. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to ban the automatron patrols. Unchecked power will only yield further crime. The Stalwarts did not like that decision, but it's okay, they still love me. This is new. The people of the old Dreadnought have a message for me. Intruders? Steward, a group of strangers has arrived at the old Dreadnought. They seem desperate enough to be a threat.